My name is Akila, and this is the Black Men's Redemption. In this podcast, we talk with real Black men on issues that affect Black men on a whole. Let the healing begin. Welcome back to another episode of the Black Men's Redemption here at episode 2 of season 2. We are here with a good brother of mine again, Akasha Bondye. He is an artist, a community developer, and a content creator. We will definitely be dropping his socials in the description below, so you can link with him and connect with him. Welcome, Akasha, and thank you for being here.
Appreciate you. I appreciate you for having me.
Excellent, excellent. So we're continuing our conversation that we started 2 weeks ago on polygamy and Gyalisism. And remind me, Akasha, you are of Jamaican descent. So you know what a Gyalis is.
Yeah, I know about Gyalisism, trust.
So let's open the conversation. What is a Gyalis to you?
So a Gyalis to me is pretty much a man who love woman bad but don't love the commitment to woman. You see me? So yeah, I feel like Gyalisism deals a lot more with, just being like that playboy, kind of like pimp energy. You just kind of just want to have your way, have your cake and eat it too type of vibe, you know.
Okay, all right. So it's giving more playboy energy. Does it have any negative connotations to you?
To me, if you're asking me, I would say it's not positive because you're not really building, you're not developing, you're not really curating anything other than lustful desires when it comes to Gallicism in comparison to polygamy. So I wouldn't say that. Now, if you ask me about society, that would be a whole different answer. But in my regards, I wouldn't say it's that most positive.
So polygamy is more of a holistic connection with multiple women, in your opinion?
Of course, that's the only righteous way to get it done, in my
Okay, all
opinion.
right. So one of the reasons I really wanted to talk about polygamy versus Gyalisism is that I often hear in our Afrocentric communities talk about polygamy. And I always wonder, why? Is it because in our cultures, especially in Jamaica, we already have a culture of Gyalisism that we are trying to replace the Gyalisism with a more holistic approach? So really, I guess the next question is, what is polygamy and how really does it differ in its principles from polygamy? Not just that it's more holistic and it's more accepted by the women, but what are the key principles that make it different?
I would say the main difference is that when it comes to polygamy, everything is consensual. Everyone is aware of what's going on. Everyone is in agreement. So there's no lying, there's no secrecy, there's no, tiptoeing around in the dark and things have to come to the light. Like everything is amongst consensual adults agreeing to that specific type of union. You see me? So that's the main difference. And I also feel as though, in terms of the goal, when it comes to polygamy versus Gallicism isn't in the attempts of building anything. It's not centered around family. Polygamy, the center of polygamy deals with people coming together, multiple different people, to build a stronger and a bigger foundational family unit and a family structure. You see me? So those are the main things I would say. I would also add that when it comes to polygamy, um, culturally, it's something that, if you're talking about Jamaica specifically, you said that, in the Afrocentric spaces, and we know the Rastafari, deal with the Afrocentric, like they dominate the Afrocentric spaces. So when you say Empress, Emperor, King, Lion, lioness. The lion have to have multiple lionesses. You see what I mean? That's natural order. Lion order. So yeah, that's really what I have to say on that. I feel as though overall, when it comes to Gyalisism, the type of men that do deal with Gyalisism aren't Rastafari. They aren't Afrocentric per se. They're more so just men in I guess you can say hyper masculinity or hyper sexuality, and that's more so the driving force rather than building a family.
So it's really more like my eye light upon her, my eye light upon her, and okay,
Right,
fire on your
right.
skin, ever like everything like that.
Yeah, done now.
Yeah, because when I observe these conversations, some in some Afrocentric spaces, and I used this term in the last interview,
hmm
Afrocentric presenting, because it's like they have the talk of Afrocentricity, but
Right.
it's low key not. And
hmm
especially when it comes on to women and relationships, it seems like um, they want to be Gallicis, but they also still want to be Afrocentric, and you can't have the two at the same time. And what I was observing is that it seems like, okay, I want her. Why do you want her? That would be the question I ask. Why do you
hmm
want her and her?
hmm
And it's not necessarily me bashing polygamy, because I
hmm
think it's a valid thing. If that's what you want to do and everybody's okay with it, it's valid. But the
Right.
reasons for getting involved with these women, not just because shape out and shape out, which just seems to be
Right.
that's the driving factor.
Yes, that does. I mean, if we're being honest, I do feel as though that is at the core of any romantic partnership. You know, you have to be attracted to the woman that you're dealing with. Or if not, your eyes are gonna wander more regardless, because naturally, as men, they say we're visual creatures, right? And women, they're more so what they hear and what they feel. You see me?
Mm-hmm.
So that's just at its core. But when it comes to a divine masculine man that wants multiple women, um, I really feel as though you have to be at a certain level where you're even attracting, just like how the sun being like Ra or the divine masculine energy, naturally these planets are going to just drift into his orbit. You don't really have to force anything.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to try and manipulate to get multiple women. That's the main thing. Circling back to what you were saying with men using, to me, it's like these Afrocentric buzzwords. You see me?
Yep.
To encapsulate the minds of women who actually are very much so down for the mission, and they don't actually walk the walk. They might just talk their talk. You know. And they're just filling up what, like I said, women want to hear to get access to those type of women, because we know, black women in general, amazing, one love. But Afrocentric, natural, fully in their just black essence, Afrocentric essence, culturally, traditionally essence. Men are attracted to that more because it's soft, it is feminine, but it's also fierce, it's also intriguing, it's also alluring, it's healing. And black men and women, but specifically black men, we go through some of the most trauma on the planet. So of
It
course you're gonna
seems like it seems like heaven is agreeing with you, because a clap of thunder just came down as you were saying all that.
want. Boy, yo,
I see.
Jah works. But
Exactly.
yeah, definitely.
So you touched on something earlier. You said men are visual creatures, and
Mhm.
before that, you said the lion. It's natural for him to have multiple women. So let's talk about the biology of that. Um,
Okay, talk to me.
because that's one of the arguments men will bring is like, oh, men are naturally polygamous,
hmm
and then also say that women are not. Now let's talk about the men's side first. Uh, Polygyny.
All right, polygyny,
How
yes.
is how is how are men naturally wanting multiple women? Why? What biology supports that? Tell me about it.
I mean, I'll just go on the most common. I feel like you probably heard this argument multiple times, is one man can impregnate 100 women. but one woman can only receive one man's seed for 9 months. Within that 9 months, though, one man can now have 90 children. And if you want to take it in the biblical sense, you're supposed to be fruitful and multiply. So that's one sense, but you're saying specifically biology. Also the whole us not having cycles. I mean, this is kind of a mix between biology and a little bit spirituality because it's like, why do women the only animals per se that have cycles? And there might be some far off exception for that, but overall, for the most part, most dogs and cats, you don't just see them bleeding. Chickens, you don't just see them bleeding randomly. So it's like it's almost as if Uno are punished for not having babies or for not being with a man. You see what I'm saying? So that's something, those are two different points I can bring up. The whole biology of it, I'm not a scientist, so I can't go too deep into that, but those are just the two that kind of come to the forefront of my mind.
For sure. Sorry, I had to mute myself because again, lightning
Thunder
all over.
made me feel like
But
Bob Marley at that concert.
oh my
Yeah.
God. So yes, biologically, men have the capacity to impregnate several women at once. Let's talk about
Mhm.
sexual responsibility.
Okay.
They can, but should they?
Should they?
And how can they be responsible about it?
You can be responsible about it by being intentional about it. So being intentional with who, because regardless male or female, sex is a sacred energy exchange, right? So regardless who you decide to share that sacred energy with is important. So as a man, knowing that you are the dominant force, the dominant energy, you have to make sure that you're spreading your seeds into fertile soil. You know what I mean? So that is the number one thing, honestly, being intentional. And also you said sexual responsibility, making sure you're not just intentional, but again, I have to stress being consensual because unfortunately that's also a problem that exists. If we want to single out Jamaica because we're both Jamaican and them thing there, that is a problem that is very prevalent in Jamaica, but of course at the world at large. Unfortunately, my male species do a lot of fuckery. So yeah, unfortunately, yeah, that's just where we at in the current state of the world. Yeah,
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm
unfortunately.
always watch. Sometimes I watch these videos, especially Muta. This is what actually sparked my wanting to have polygamy on the podcast.
Hmm.
Um, I was watching this video with Muta Baruch, and he was saying that women in the West will not accept polygamy, and I'm in my mind, it was almost like he was blaming the women in a sense, like, oh, you should
Mm.
accept polygamy. It's what
No, that no,
African
right.
people did.
Yeah.
And on that note, it's what African did. I just want to say, for me, sexual responsibility also means can you provide for
Oh, okay.
what will come from that union?
Right.
So when the arguments that Afrocentric men sometimes bring is that, oh, we did it in Africa. I don't think it was every single man in Africa. Also, not every single tribe, but also not every single man in that tribe because some of them did not have the bread.
True.
No,
You're
no,
right.
no, no good father is going to give a man his daughter and he can't feed the daughter.
That's a fact. That does need to be spoken on for sure.
Yeah.
So when we're talking in that sense, then it really comes down to the individual, which first and foremost, that has to be something. Believe it or not, a lot of men don't desire polygamy. I, for the longest time, actually thought a lot of men, or the majority of men, actually did want polygamy. But through my own, I guess you can say, case studies or social experiments, I found that a lot of men don't want the headache. They don't want that extra responsibility. A lot of men actually don't care for it. A lot of men think that it's just being unloyal or it's not right. Or it could be for religious reasons, personal reasons, whatever, emotional reasons, but or just cultural reasons. Traditionally, it's like I didn't grow up seeing my dad with two women. What the hell I need two women for? You know what I mean? So that's a big thing. And when it comes to financially, though, yeah, unfortunately, there are a lot of poor righteous teachers out here in the Afrocentric space. So I will say that that is really important to my good brother Dr. Umar, what did he say? The revolution before the back shots. Okay. He said progression before all that otherness. I can't remember the exact quotes, but yes, yes, using me. We do need to be focused more on the building than the breaking of backs. You know what I mean? So yeah, like that's important. Seriously, like you don't need to just be no brokey out here just trying to have three wives in your apartment that you don't even own a house. Like to me, that's kind of crazy. It doesn't really add up. Now, but if you are a man, because if you think about it, the people who in Africa did have multiple wives were the chiefs, were the
Mm-hmm.
kings, were the princes, were the high priests and the royal bloodlines and all those things. So if you are just a regular person and you just want to live a regular life, then just be regular with your regular one woman, your one wife. But if you know deep within yourself, and that's an inner calling that you have to have with Jah, with God, you have to have that divine calling to say, okay, I know I'm a divine man, willing and able to take care of myself, my woman, and our woman, our third woman, our sister wife. So you do have to have, to me, I would say some standard things that are essential is owning land,
Uh-huh.
owning property, owning multiple revenue streams, multiple sources of income, having me personally as someone who does want to practice polygamy, I want to have certain asset classes already. You know what I mean? I want to have to a point where I'm comfortable, my queen, my empress is comfortable, and if I'm adding somebody else into the equation, she'll also be comfortable and all needs will be met. And not just us three, because what's more important than the partners in polygamy is the children.
Yep.
100%. It's the children. So, yeah, 100%. That's what I have to say on that.
More thunder on this side. It's like applause.
Yo, I'm here for it.
So when I see Gallus, tell me why there's broke Gallus. Tell me
Okay.
why.
Hold on.
Tell me why.
Hold on. Let's hold up a mirror real quick. Hold on. Because you just said that there's broke gallus, right? So that mean the woman have to be okay with dealing with broke men, period, all across the board.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that means that there comes a certain point where women have to take responsibility
Oh,
for
for
the type of
sure.
men that they're allowing into their womb space.
Oh, for sure.
Because a lot
Like,
of women, believe it or not, they like the idea of knowing say that their man have other women, but they just don't want to admit that. It's like a flex almost. Because it was a time period when I was really big in just finding a Jamaican girl because I'm Jamaican. You know, my background is Jamaican. And hold on, I have to say this. I love my Jamaican woman out there. Book bust up shot. You see me? I love one of them, but for real. Okay, but we gotta be honest too, right? So it was a time when I would see and I would go through different like Jamaican girls Instagrams and I would go through the little bio. Not the bio, like you know when you have a post on Instagram and it says like your location and it say at your husband house at your boyfriend house, out with your man. And I'm like, damn, like that's like frequent. Like it's a trendy thing to be like, yo, but there with this woman husband, like I'm fucking on your husband, gal. Like, yeah. Yeah,
wow.
I'm really like that. And I'm like, damn, like this is a thing. Like I didn't know this was a cultural thing where it's like it's more of a flex almost, it seems like to be with someone's husband. So it's like I don't know if it's a psychological thing where it's like, yo, I could just go get my own man, but more than likely, if he's your husband, it's because he probably has resources or he can fuck good or whatever the fuck it is. They want that. I don't know. I don't know what exactly, but so that's on, like I said, holding a little mirror up in that regard. But for in terms of the broke Gallisdom, sometimes the game just good. You know what I mean? You just not for your sweet. You're mouth full of sugar.
No, it is low key. I mean, I could never, but
I hear you.
but look, low key, you like as a woman, like sometimes you're in a taxi or whatever, or you're on the road, you're trucking, doing your
Nah, doing your thing,
business,
yeah.
and some man with a robotic hand me on that roadside, he have the time to meds and figure out one sweet lyrics
Right.
Sweet lyrics, Empress.
That's something.
What have you? Like
Yeah.
5 years later,
And
I
you
still remembering.
you start reminisce when you get home,
But,
like, but yeah.
but,
Uh-huh.
nah, because I don't know. I'm a pretty practical girl. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
running down nobody pocket, but for real, like, why are I was saying, why aren't the women demanding, or not demanding, but being more cognizant of this, of the fact that some of these men don't got two pennies to rub together? Oh, there was a trend last year or a couple of years ago. You probably
Uh-huh.
remember. The man them were saying, "Oh, would you rather have a house or a car?" And they're like, "House can't escape on tool."
I remember that.
That
Yeah,
mentality right there,
yo, for
that
real.
is not generational wealth building mentality. Why are you
Yo,
with this dude?
right. No, genuinely. But then again, a lot of them unfortunately don't have the education either to know so that that's not long term going to be beneficial to them. Because enough of them chopper them, scammer them out here, them will buy what? BMW bike and Benz
Mark
and
X.
Mark X. You see me? That's what them are meds. Them not worry about, let me go get some blocks and some cement and build up a house.
And some of the artists out here are literally bashing them for like, oh, you've been scamming for like 5+ years. You're just talking about how much money you scammed out, and where is your house? You still live in a folk. But
True.
no, that
True.
is the
That's
Gallus
real. That's
mentality.
real.
It's
That's real.
now, not later. And I feel like part of it is that these young men, especially, they do not, and the young women, but we're talking about the men right now because this is the Black
Yes,
man's redemption.
we here. We
They
here.
do not see themselves in the future. You know, 40, they're like 40. I'll never reach 40, or not even to say that I will die before 40, but they cannot see themselves
Can't even conceive that.
further. Exactly.
Hmm.
So it's now. May I lick
But
that now? I'm gonna get
you
that
see me?
now. May I spend
Uh-huh.
that now? And of course, they're consuming all of this media that enforces,
Yes.
like, you've been to Jamaica. I remember being a little girl, like 4 years old and whatever, in Jamaica, walking past, my mom would probably try to put me to the other side of her so I don't exactly see what's in the bar, but all these posters of these
Oh,
women,
come on, go
all this
shop,
out and all
go
that. No, it's
club.
not. It's just a regular bar, but all the
Oh,
posters are there. Just a regular
mm,
bar. Like, we
okay,
didn't even know
yeah,
what go-go was at all. But there was just a
okay.
regular bar, and every commercial,
That's
um
true.
every commercial, or what's the thing, calendar. A couple of years ago, I went to a electrical store to buy some wire. Tell me, and it was like end of year time, and tell me why the calendar has these women in Timberland boots, batty rider, crop top, hard hats. I'm like, that is a health code violation. You're going to get hurt, my girl. You're going
Yo,
to get
that's
electrocuted. But because
terrible.
of all of this media, hypersexualizing
Yeah.
women, encouraging men to hypersexualize women. So let's talk a little bit about that. Like, what creates the gallus? What creates the gallus mentality?
You know what you just said, honestly, but let's dive a little deeper though. I would definitely say, Jamaica is the music island. First and foremost, it's the music island. Music respected all across the globe. Unfortunately, man, like some of the biggest hit songs, I really want to, I mean, not to single any artist out, which is, I mean, like, come on, let's just, who's the queen of dance hall? Me a mash up, me boom boom, me a pocket and a cocket and a boom. Or you feel me? Like, bro, like, bro, that's all you like. Some of the top dance hall songs is just straight sex. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like vulgar, like not even like no R&B. Let me sweet talk you, baby. Let me come here and
Yeah.
no, it's just straight. Dig up in a hole, me a dig up in like it's just like, bro, it's
And
no
very
filter.
violent too in
There,
the
yeah,
imagery.
yeah, for sure. So you're hearing that five, six, seven, eight, sometime like, cause especially when you raise up in the ghetto, it's like you're not really hearing much reggae. You're really hearing mainly straight dancehall. And dancehall is very vulgar, very, very violent, very. expressive of, to me, I would say lower vibrational, lower chakra energy, that root chakra, that sacral chakra energy. So when that's what you're programmed with, on top of, I wasn't like born and raised in Yard, but I've heard tons of stories and going back frequently, at least like once or twice a year in recent times, I'd say, yeah, like it's the culture. Unfortunately, like I've heard so many horror stories from my own family, my own mother to different women that I've just met along my journey. And the way that sexual abuse and sexual assault is so common in Jamaican culture, it's fucking terrible.
Yep. Oh yeah. And ugh,
And that honestly goes for woman and men. And that's where the whole Batiman, that whole thing, like that's ingrained because that's even trauma from slavery times, you know? So it goes deep for real because it's a mix of programming, trauma, and culture.
an unfortunate mix, not even the good.
Literally. Yeah, yeah, you see, you want to shake your head off your neck like that for real. Like, man.
No, because I,
Um,
as a woman, you experience it. Like sometimes I take the bus. I don't have a car, and I
mm.
hate traveling on buses where there's all the loud music. First of all, because it's like
It's overstimulating. It can be for sure. Yeah.
overstimulating, and then
Yeah.
it's like I did not know there are so many words, so many ways to describe it. Um,
It's very
so
expressive, like I said.
very overexpressed. I did not
Overly
need to know that.
expressive.
I did not need to know that. And so it's even worse when you come up during school time, when the oldest children are going to school. And I will honestly say, I feel like the girls are worse than the boys. And you're on the bus, and as soon as all the schoolers come on the bus, the bus driver turn on the nasty music, and all the children are just, I want to say vibing, but vibing is too mellow a word for it. They are
Mhm.
buzzing
Okay.
with this energy, this not violent as in like breakout fight, but it's
It's
a violent
aggressive.
type of energy. It's
Yeah.
aggressive. It's an aggressive type of energy, and in their school uniforms, like thank God I haven't been on the bus where anything too explicit is happening, but
Yeah.
it's crazy
Yeah. Yeah.
the vibe you get.
Yeah, me
I'm
know.
gonna be honest. I listen to some dancehall music. So sometimes you're in a vibe and you
Of
want to be like,
course. What do you
right?
mean? We love dance
But
hall, especially old dance hall, but yeah.
then you really think about it, and if you do not if you've never been taught to think and to have good comprehension, you don't consider how deeply it's affecting you on a day-to-day level. You're just listening to it all the time. You never stop and say, this is not how it's done. This is fiction. This is not real. Because then I mean, this is kind of getting into another topic, but you end up having these young children, like 14. I mean, I don't know what you was doing at 14, but when I was 14, I couldn't talk to boys. I didn't know what a boy was. I liked them from afar, but like I didn't know
Yeah.
what a boy was,
Yeah. Now I've
right?
heard some
So
crazy shit though, definitely like 11, 12, 14. I feel like that's like the brim. Like that's the literal minimum of anything. I know like that's good though that you are like that, but yeah, anything lower than that, 13, like you're not even a teenager, it's crazy work. And
mhm.
that does happen.
Oh, that's happening every day. Like, ooh, we're gonna have to talk about that in another session. But let's get back to the
Definitely, for
Gyalisism
sure.
and polygamy. Yeah. So I guess my next question is, what are the effects of Gyalisism in the community? We kind of talked about how Gyalis are created, but
Mhm.
what is the effect? What effect does Gyalis have in the community?
Mm, the effects on Gallicism in the community. Well, I would say that it's leading a bad, relatively, I know bad and good and bad is subjective, but I would say kind of setting a bad example for the younger generation of what to expect from relationships with women, kind of just kind of makes them more, it's like sexual objects to collect rather than actual beings to develop connections with,
Mm,
you know?
mhm.
So it's not the best.
What about the children of Gallus? Like, because what I see, your father or Gallus, my uncle is a Gallus. And then to me, you end up having all of these outside brothers and sisters, outside cousins,
Mhm.
far flung all over the place, and a lot of contention between the baby mothers and then the children sometimes. Not all the time. Sometimes the baby mothers of the girls them so and they kind of get along, but not the most ideal situation. How does it connect to a lot of the broken homes that we see?
Baby mama, baby father drama. That's a big thing right there. I mean, shit, nigga, that's all over the globe, really. I'd say like in America, though, I mean, that's where I live currently, and that's huge. It's terrible. In Jamaica though, it's also huge and it's terrible. So I mean, it's just not good for any of the parties involved, I would say. You know, no one really wins. It's like you get this temporary satisfaction from the instant gratification of having all of these different women. And then the end result is long-term pain and suffering because now you have to deal with women you don't really love, you don't really even half the time like once you get that post-nut clarity, and now you have all these children, these lifelong attachments, and now you just created a life for yourself that you don't really love or that you don't really enjoy. And now that has a negative effect on the children because half the time the parents don't like each other. The woman don't like the man. The woman are fighting with the other woman. They take it out directly or indirectly onto the children, and they're instilling these different ideologies into their heads at a young, tender age of what relationships look like. So half of them will say they want a healthy relationship, but they have no idea what that even looks like.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I mean, we've heard people say, "Oh, you're just like a workless pooper."
Mm, true. Yeah.
I realize how truly, truly blessed, and I hope my parents are watching this. How truly blessed I am to have been raised with two parents in a household. It's
Yeah.
so. I mean, I kind of low key knew it was a little uncommon when I was growing up,
Right.
but I didn't realize the effect until I got older. And of course, I'm looking for relationship and stuff. How that plays out, it's kind of hard to come from a, you know, healthy two-parent marriage relationship type and interacting with these people who never seen what a healthy relationship looks like. And it's twofold, I think. On one end, you don't know how to be in a healthy relationship. You don't
Right.
know how to be happy together. But another thing I realized as well, and sometimes more with the girls, but also with the boys sometimes, is that they don't know how to fight healthily. They don't know
Have healthy disagreements.
how to have healthy disagreements. You always love your partner, but sometimes you don't like them, and that's okay.
Right.
They never
True.
understand that because,
I tell you about it.
oh, you guys disagree on the color of the sky, and then y'all just mash up that mash up the whole thing. How? We can have
Yeah.
opinions. You can say
Yeah.
the sky is purple. You're wrong though, but but that's
Right.
okay.
Hmm.
And I think on both ends it creates, as you said, unrealistic expectations of relationships. The children,
Yeah. That's what it
don't
all comes
have.
down to. It boils down to the children. And because they're the future. I mean, without, right now, Jamaica is suffering from brain drain bad. And we're on a decline in terms of the birth rate. The population is
Hmm.
declining, which is crazy given all the Gallicism.
Right? Right?
Yeah.
But you can be a Gallus and be what
But
they say a gelding.
what's a Gyaldin? Hold on, educate me. What's a
Oh, you
Gyaldin?
don't know what a gelding is? Oh, that's what
Talk
they
to me.
call a man who don't have no children by a certain age, which is like 20, which is crazy. How can be a 20 and a
Oh, I know
gelding?
that. Like older people will like kind of roast you if you don't have the like Mario, where your children there? You're in the
Yes,
26, you're in the 24. What y'all deal with?
yes,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
I think
Gyaldin. I
I
never
think
know that
they're
term.
I think they're practicing sexual responsibility maybe a little bit too well. I mean, yes, good, but I don't know.
I hear that. I
That's a
hear that.
conversation. This whole birth rate
That's
thing
a
is a conversation.
whole nother yes, Gyaldin. That's very interesting. Um, but man, that's really where polygamy, I would say, comes in again because now with a stronger family structure, you have, because of course, there's a lot of talk about the man and what he needs to provide, but women provide in a very different way. And it also comes down to the specific dynamic and structure that you want to have with your queens and your empress. Because, you can always talk about, okay, the man just has multiple houses and the man just has multiple everything. But if we're really being honest with a lot of our black men out here and just black people in general, we are at the bottom of the pole. We're at the bottom of the totem pole. So we don't have the most resources. We don't have the most opportunities. We do have the most oppressive systems fighting against us. We do have some of the worst history that we're coming out of that we're not that far removed from as much as them other folks like to play like it's so far removed from. You see me? So
Hmm.
if at the core it's really about the children and it's not about, oh, my mom want to have her hair done every week and she want nails and Louis bag and all them different things there, then it's really about, okay, let's really build and create this generational wealth. Because believe it or not, or just truth of the matter is a lot of women, despite what social media will have people assume and think, they have no problem paying 50% of the rent in this hard ass economy. They have no problem because they know the other alternative is them paying 100% by themselves. They
Right?
don't want to do
Right?
that. Who wants to do that right now? If you have the choice to get help, you're gonna get help. And I don't know any woman that can see their man working 12-hour shifts, coming home, breaking them back every day, barely even have the time to spend time with them because they're so worried about getting to the paper that they wouldn't help their man get to where they both want to be.
Yeah. Both
So
sacrifice.
exactly, because it's a team effort. It's not a hundred and zero. It's not 50-50. It's 60-40, 30-90, whatever what I mean? Like it's just about, well, 30-60, 33-66, you get it. I was like, hold on, my math not mathing, but you get the point though. You definitely get the point. It's like it's about what you can provide that day, that time. It's not a competition, what I'm saying? It's teamwork. So, when it comes to polygamy and choosing the right empresses and queens you want to build with, the man, of course, is the backbone, but the woman are the what really builds the meat to everything. I would say the man is the skeleton, and the woman are all the different organs and the different systems that really make the body operate for real. So if the man is providing land, providing a house, providing cars, you gonna do the taxes? Are you gonna file the taxes? Are you going to do the marketing so our businesses get off the ground and stay off the ground and can continue to provide for me and your children? Are you going to be able to help with, minor bills like we talked about, like, phone bill? Can you pay the phone bills? Can you pay the water bill? I spent $3,000 on this solar panel generators and all this different stuff. There's no real light bill, but can you just pay for putting some gas in the car one time and then the next time, or you may just pay for dessert at the restaurant when I pay for the meal. Little stuff
Yeah.
like that. You know what I mean? And it's really just to show that it's not about the money, because that's a whole nother thing. Because unfortunately, society, we live in a capitalistic world. So people are driven by money, and maybe to different extents depending on the person, but to serve, because as humans, as animals on earth, we at our core have the desire and need to survive. So to survive, really it doesn't take much for humans to survive. You see that a lot more in third world countries. You have food, You have plants up your food, you have water, clean water, you have shelter, you have clothes, you got transportation and a means to get to where you need to go to continue having those things. Everything else is really extracurricular. You know what I mean? So of course now it's survival, then it comes to thriving. So if you are a holistic and spiritual and like indigenous minded type of person, then once you have those core essentials, for the most part, most people just want to travel and spend time with family. At their core, they just want to have experiences. You know what I mean? So it's like after all of the essentials are done, what left is there to do but, love and be happy and be merry and, drink and eat and, maybe a little 1-2 party, you know what I mean? You want to step out and them sing there, but it's like realistically, that's like the main core of what I feel like most people want out of life. Now, that's the good part of it, but then now the hard part, I would say, is the education of the youths because that's the real mission. Building and leaving legacy for the youth so they don't have to deal with a lot of the stuff we had to deal with growing up. Programming their mind with positivity to drown out the negativity of the world. You see me? So those things are what's really and truly important. And like we said, brain drain, teaching your youths the skill of farming, how to have an agro business, how to market a business, how to invest, how to budget, financial literacy, how to
Mm-hmm.
have emotional maturity, how to
Mm-hmm.
communicate. Those are important.
Mm-hmm.
If we want to have a successful society, we have to have successful individuals, successful youth, successful people who can communicate, who not just oh, what? There's a step on my clocks. Gunshot, you forget. You know what I mean? Like, hold on. All right, my brother. Let's talk this out real quick. Like, I ain't gonna lie. You might have to shoot me a little 50 ball because you just messed up my Clarks. But look, regardless, though, I'm not gonna kill you. I'm not gonna shoot you. But like, let's talk about this. Let's figure out ways to express ourselves. Because the big thing I would say with this, not to get too far off topic, but hyper masculinity because it relates in terms of Gyalisism and that nature and stuff like that. It deals with hyper masculinity. And a lot of men perceive being masculine as, oh, like, don't mess with me, bro. You got me messed up, bro. Like, don't, like, I ain't playing, bro. I'll kill you, bro. Like, and a lot of that is really just reacting out of emotion. You don't know how to
Mm-hmm.
regulate your emotions, actually, because if you sit back logically as man, it's like most of this is not even
It wasn't
worth
even a big
a
deal.
reaction. Yeah, it's not even worth it's not a big deal. That's what it boils down to. So we're learning how to regulate our emotions, how to de-escalate and not just
Mm-hmm.
escalate stuff as men, because that's how you really survive and preserve yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For sure. I loved how you touched on the youths because one of the questions I wanted to ask is like in terms of polygamy, engagement with the children. One thing I always thought as an issue with the Gyalises who, be out here making babies all over the place. I'm looking at you, Elephant Man, Ninja Man.
Real bad man. Real bad man. Uh-huh.
But like, how do you have 23 children with 22 baby mother? Because that's kind of the key part. How do you have so many children in a polygamous relationship and be able to engage with them all? Reason why I asked that because I I am 7 years older than my little brother. And
Okay.
believe me, I was, for the most part, an only child. And my parents took me everywhere. Like, to be honest, I didn't really have friends my age for a long time. They took me everywhere. I was hanging out with big people, having big people conversations, and
Right.
just absorbing all of that, right? And I can see that multiply by four. You have four children, you have like people have six children. And how do you engage and make time for your children when you have I mean, if you have four to six
I
children
mean,
with
that's
one
just
wife
crazy.
and
Come on, man. Let's just be real,
20
bro.
odd
That's it. That's
children.
insanity, bro. At that point, it's like, yo, what you doing, bro? It's just greed. Like, is it like an ego thing? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I can't speak for another man, but from my personal perspective, I will say that, I mean, I'm not gonna put a limit on how many kids I feel like someone should have. I feel like it definitely comes down to the person, but I mean, realistically, like once you're getting past 7, 9, it's like, all right, bro, like what left are you? Come on, bro. Like, and then it's also like you have to have the time to give to each one of them. Like you said, like time and connection and love and memories and all those things. Like it's shit, bro. Unless you just comfortable every time you go to the airport, you got a football team behind you. Like that's gonna be a lot, bro. Like
That's a lot of money.
that's a lot of money. That's a
You
lot
need
of
to own an
work.
airline.
But at that point, bring back Air Jamaica, man. Shut up. But literally though, like that's a lot, and I feel like a lot of men don't think about that in that
Mhm.
regard. It's just kind of like be fruitful and multiply. But it's like, you have to be realistic and practical with it as well too, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Because like you said, the youths need that connection, and they need fathers. They need fathers for real, and they need fathers who engage with them. It's so funny. I'm gonna be here talking to some of these young guys, like, my peers or whatever, and you can see the lack of fathers in their life. You can see it. And my dad, I'm always volunteering my dad for things. You need a dad? Come see my dad. He don't like that because he don't like people. But he's
Okay.
always willing to, sit and listen, because he's also the type of man that he won't discount anything. I love my daddy. He let me be the person I am. He never discounted anybody or anything I did. He's like, so why do you do that? Like, and this
Like
is
more
usually
so
about my,
curious than judgmental, yeah.
yeah, more curious. He's like, well, I think that's weird, but if you like it, that's fine. And I love you for it. So having that relationship with a father and being able to connect. I mean, how do you do that? Like, whether you're polygamous or you're just a gallus, like that needs to be forefront in the mind. And I just don't think that being out here um seed in the wind type of thing is gonna do that. It's not going You're going to
Nah.
end up creating a lot of
Yeah, it's
people
not
who
the
are missing
flex you
parts of
think. It's
themselves.
really just creating a trail of broken homes behind you. Really.
Exactly. And then they're gonna have to do all this work to fix themselves and therapy and broken relationships. And part of those broken relationships, they can create children too. So like, let's like
Yeah,
not
let's
do that.
just
Let's like
can't.
try and get our children off on the right foot the first time.
Right.
But
Yeah.
in that, I wanted to ask you, say you have a brethren, a good brethren, you're not jealous.
And
What do you do? Like, should Gallus be called out? Not called out isn't to crucify them or any way, but how do we talk to our brethren, them that are Gallus, and say, or should we just leave them because not my business? Or should we be responsible, socially responsible?
this is my take on it, right? Because I mean, I've brethren that's definitely gallus, and they don't really know that term per se, but they are promiscuous. They know they don't really like, they like to have their way. You know what I mean? And so what I like to do is more so plant a seed in their mind. And by just asking, like, genuinely pick their brain and act like, ask them questions like, so bro, why do you think it's so hard to stay committed to one woman? You know? And a lot of them, to be honest, they just like, bro, I don't trust these hoes. I don't trust women. I don't trust these hoes. And
Mm.
it's like, I can
Mm.
understand that because a lot of women are not trustworthy. A lot of women will play with your heart. A lot of them have had experiences where a lot of men, I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of men are actually lover boys. A lot
I
of
heard
dudes is
that.
lover boys, bro.
I
But
heard
they've
that.
been played once. And the thing is with men, when we get hurt, it's a different type of scar. Like we don't really like it takes a lot more work to heal it. And a lot of men aren't trying to do all that. So they'd rather just heal it temporarily and get that satisfaction by running through a bag of woman. You know what I mean? Because a lot of men, unfortunately, the only time we actually experience true love and intimacy with the woman is sexually, you know? Because of the traumas that our black women have been through as well too, they don't really know how to be as feminine. So a lot of times when we do get that, it is through that. And then on top of that as well, because of the brainwashing on both sides, they kind of have to play that Gallus role, Batman role. They have to, me a Chopper role. Like they have to kind of be on that type of energy to even bag a lot of women because that's what women like.
Unfortunately, I don't get
Mhm.
it.
Me neither,
I get it,
but
but I don't get it.
yeah. So that's where we at. I feel like it's the state of the culture right now. And it's gonna take a paradigm shift. It is gonna take a paradigm shift. I do feel like Rasta is a big proponent to usher in that new wave, that new frequency. But it's also outside of Rasta and bigger than Rasta and just in general. It's a general, what do they call it? It's a the 5D shift in consciousness globally. And we're moving into an age, the age of Aquarius, where we are no longer in the age of Pisces, which is the age of illusion. The truth is
Mm.
coming to the forefront. So a lot of things that we tried to suppress are being come to the light now. You know what I mean? So, and to go back to what you said, should we leave them be? Like I said, I just plant the seed because that's all you can do. Because at the end of the day, the Most High bless us with free will. So at the end of the day, people are gonna do what they do. The biggest thing is really just more so creating, which we're tie it all in together with polygamy, right? Nation building. It's all
Mhm.
about building a kingdom, building villages, building tribes, building little enclaves of positivity and healing and righteousness where it can attract more people because the bigger your kingdom is, the more light it's shining, it's going to attract more people to be like, well, what they doing? What they got going on? Like, okay, they got money, he got gals, but he's not even lying to them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, damn, like he kind of having his way, but it's different. Like, it's gonna start, stuff gonna start firing off in their brain. Like, okay, let me hold on. So all I gotta do is just get me a house, get me some cars, get me a little business, get me some stable income, and I can have multiple women as well too, possibly, potentially. But I have to work on myself to do that. Oh, I have to heal. Now that might turn some people off, but it might also intrigue a lot of people as well too. You know what I mean? So that's how I would kind of make that come full circle. It's like just doing it more and showing more positive examples and how, because honestly, a lot of people I know in Jamaica who are polygamous, they be like, yo, Reggie, y'all Gyalis and all, y'all have two of them, you know what I'm saying? But like in reality, if you are a righteous brother doing polygamy, because I mean, you can be doing polygamy and not be righteous. It's just like, I mean, it's just, you know what I'm saying? So, but if you are a righteous brother doing it holistically, then yeah, you'll educate as well.
Yeah. And those who we say show the kind don't kind of fall. Yeah, you just as you said, you plant the seed and
Mm.
if it grow, it grow. And if it don't,
Hey, you got your tree in your backyard.
exactly.
Yeah, shit, for sure.
Those who will come. So
Mhm.
yeah, I think that's we're coming to the end of our conversation. Do you have anything else to add?
Um, don't just be running through women, man. Like, then eventually it's gonna get old, bro. Like, you're gonna want a real family. I feel like you said, like you kind of said, touched on earlier. A lot of men don't envision themselves at 40. Like it's not the hype in your 20s and even early 30s when you finally get that money of just, tricking and spending it on multiple women and just running through a bag of women. That's not gonna fulfill you deep down. It's only gonna give you temporary satisfaction. So I would dive deeper and get to the root cause of why you feel like you need so many women to feel like a man, maybe, or you need to run through so many women to feel satisfied in yourself when really and truly a lot of it starts from a lack of self-love. So self-love is major, it's key. And then also education on if you do feel like, yo, one woman could just never satisfy me and you know yourself, and that's just not you, look into polygamy and see about doing it righteously.
Hmm,
Yeah.
that's it. That's it. And don't be a gallus.
And don't
Don't be
be
a ninja man.
careless.
Oh my
Your
god.
words
I
are
swear
great,
if Ninja
sister.
Man watch this, he gonna be mad
Ah,
at me.
yo, he will blow up your
Calling
comments.
his name too much.
Yes, you definitely blowing up the spot.
But yes, thank you so much, Akasha, for being part of this episode 2 of season
Episode 2.
2 of the Black Men's Redemption.
Yeah, man,
I'm
I
so
appreciate you for having me, genuinely, for real. It was a great conversation and much needed. Whoever
yeah.
does watch it, I pray and I hope so that they get something out of it for sure.
Ashe, ashe. All right. I hope to see you in another episode,
Oh yeah.
on different season for sure. All right. Have a blessed day.
Respect. One love. Peace.
This has been another episode of the Black Men's Redemption. If have any questions or comments, or want to pose a new topic, leave a message for us on one of our podcasting platforms, or leave a comment or direct message at our Instagram at Black Man's Redemption. We'd like to thank our guests for their contributions and our listeners for their questions. Now is the time for healing. Let it begin.